This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social in partnership with Empire Fight Store. Weigh-in day, For Eubank Jr., Liam Smith, George Groves. Happy New Year, George. First of all, hope you had a good Christmas. Let's firstly talk about your podcast with Ricky Hatton here in Manchester. Obviously good podcast. How did you find it? What a hero.
Yeah, it was awesome. Love Ricky. Grew up watching Ricky Hatton. That was definitely my era. So it was lovely talking to him. He's got a long, fascinating story, Ricky. So you'd never get to the bottom of it in sort of one podcast. But he was kind enough to invite us into his gym, share a load of great stories, some fun stories, some tough stories. And it was just after his recent exhibition with Barrera, which was just interesting to get his perspective on how he's thinking, how he's feeling in that regard, as well as, obviously through his back catalogue of great stories. So no, it was a really good one. 1, 2, 3, really happy with that podcast, and thankful to Ricky for coming on.
What's up, man? Well, look, we are here for Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith, an ex-opponent of yours with Chris Eubank Jr. Let's firstly talk about what happened yesterday. Obviously, loads of discussions in terms of a very personal press conference. Yeah, he went down very dark times in that press conference. Just your assessment on it.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces. I didn't see it live, so I'm not even sure if I've seen like edited versions, because I know some of the stuff probably ain't suitable for broadcasting. But yeah, it got personal, but it's never really been my style. But it's a different world now. Everyone puts their life up online, and sort of you leave yourself open for that to be picked apart. But no, it's good, man. I mean, there's needle there in this fight. Junior will create needle. Eubank will create needle, and Smith has, he's bit, but I think he's got a cool, calm head as well. So it makes for a bit more of a fascinating fight. More and more people you speak to, the more that their opinion on how the fight will go is split. So that's good.
It is hard. I mean, you've experienced it as well. Eubank's been continually on Liam Smith in terms of the antics outside the ring. You did say just then that is the first time you'd have thought that Liam Smith did bite yesterday, you think?
No. I don't think he bit yesterday. I think he had a cool, calm head, But I thought there might be a possibility that he bites, because I know he's a wily old fighter now. He's been pro a long time, and he's been in box for a while. But he does have that bit of fire in his belly where he does like to bite back. And Chris can, when he wants to be, can be quite, full of himself, and it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes. But no, yesterday I thought, to be honest, I probably thought Smith handled it a bit better. I thought there was some comments that went out that rattled Eubank a little bit, but not to the point where it's going to make a significant effect on either fighter. I think it's just nice. It's another measuring stick for each other to get a feel of each other. We'll see how we go.
Away from that, though, I think the Boxer production in terms of the whole scheduling for this event's been brilliant. The behind-the-scenes footage, I don't know how much you've seen, but there's such different characters, aren't there? I think that does work well when you do those exclusive behind-the-scenes and gloves are off. They're just such different characters, George, aren't they?
Yeah, no, they are, and they're both willing to put a lot of training footage out there, which is quite cool, for the fan. I mean, me as a fighter, I'd have put next to nothing out there, and what you did see wasn't real, I was always under the impression that what Floyd Mayweather put out there wasn't really what he was doing, it was what he wanted everyone to think he was doing, what everyone wanted to see. But we've seen footage of Eubank sparring in a puffer jacket. I don't know how cold it was in his gym that day, or if that's what he usually does, if there's a significance to that. He's always alluding to he's tight at the weight, and he might only show up 50% and stuff like that. So that was, that's what you want to take from it or not. And Liam the same. Like, Liam's had to do a lot of PR for this because he's a smaller name, and he's got do his part to sell the show. So we have seen a lot of him in action. Him with Joe McNally, who's I'm not sure how many fights they've had together, but I think it's quite recent. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good.
Do you like that sort of entertainment side of it, though? I did the bad guy, perhaps, as the bad guy against Carl Froch. Eubank's come out as the bad guy, I'd say, in terms of this fight. Do you appreciate that side of the entertainment factor?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to come up with some banter, just make sure it's funny. Do you know what I mean? And then it's down to individual taste. Do you know what I mean? I didn't necessarily want to be the bad guy in the Froch run. It's just the way the cookie crumbled. And then in the second fight,
Bit of a push and a pull.
Well, yeah. So after the first fight, literally on the ring apron, I'm the good guy now and he's the bad guy. But it never quite carried through that way throughout the build up for the second fight. It was more just if you are hardcore Team Frotch, then you're on Frotch's side, and likewise for me. I think we probably got more boos than cheers that night at Wembley, which is a bit weird. But no, it's part and parcel of the game. And Eubank, it is a factor to take into account that he felt a lot of love, a lot of appreciation after the fight fell through with Conor Benn. He handled the PR excellently, and then he did that thing where he showed that he'd made the weight for the fight, and a lot of people love that. And he did a lot of charitable things after. I thought he might try and carry that on, being the sort of the popular guy. He's the A side of this card, but it seems like no, he's decided to go back and be a little bit more taunting. But it's cool, man. I mean, for me, I'm in it for the boxing, to be honest. Right now, I'm in it for the boxing, and 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say Eubank pretty comfortably, but we're not sure on what his desired levels are now. Is he as fit and tough, and does he want it as much as he used to? And Smith, as I say, wily old pro, good fighter. But I think it's 5-6 years ago now since he boxed Canelo, so he's had good wins since. But he's, is he still fresh enough? Is he still up for it? So we'll see.
Has Eubank improved under Roy?
Well, he would have improved certain aspects of his game, definitely, because for the bulk part of his pro career, he worked with Ronnie Davis, but there wasn't much else. A lot of time he was on his own. So we learned a lot of tricks and experienced a lot being around someone like Roy Jones. Whether he's been able to convert that to make him a better fighter in the ring, I'm not sure. It's not quite as black and white as caught between styles, but he's a mentally strong man, Eubank Jr. So if he wants to be his own man now, do what works for him, and for me, maybe get back to the sort of. He was an animal before, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that it's a compliment. He was an animal before. I used to spar with him 2011, and newbie pro really, not a lot of amateur experience. Come in, and he'd give it his all. And when he wasn't there, he was giving it his all in the gym. He was out running hard. He was training hard, and I felt like that was him. That was the guy he was. Doesn't really show a lot of that now in the public eye. He makes out as if everything comes to him easy, and he's always half the man of what he could potentially be. But if he still has that animalistic desire, that chomping at the bit, then he'll be a handful. It'll be too much for Smith, I think. And he might go on to to big things soon, world title shots. But we will see.
What is the big things then? Is it the Golovkin fight for Eubank? I mean, that Conor Benn fight will always be there. I think that's always going to be spoken about. It is a big money fight. Unfortunately, it's a big money fight. I think many people still want to see it. A lot of people don't want to see it. So I think it's still there. But where does Eubank go after this if he's successful?
Well, I'd like to see him push for a world title fight, for a big hard fight. I don't know what his deal is with Sky, but they've given him a pay-per-view platform, and he will get it again. Ben Shalom, who's pretty much running the show at Sky, said that he's the biggest draw outside the heavyweight division in Britain. So that gives him a lot of power. That means he can bring in good fighters from abroad, and they'll happily come over to the UK and fight him. I'd probably like to see him in the mix at middle with some of the better guys, preferred over the Conor Benn fight.
Finally, prediction. They got some media behind me. Prediction at the end of the fight.
I think Eubank wins. But I wouldn't put my house on anything. It definitely could be a banana skin fight. Liam's got better boxing ability, got better pedigree. I think Eubank's naturally bigger. Size might prevail. I'm going to go with Eubank win.